kicked me out for being a burden while my stepbrother laughed and said I deserved it. Now years later they are begging me to let him crash in my apartment because he is unemployed. I said, Mom, while I was in my room crying because your husband was throwing me into the street, Leo stood in the doorway and laughed at me. He told me I deserved it for being a burden. I had never told her that part before. There was just dead silence on the phone. Then Mark grabbed the phone back and he sounded furious. He said Leo would never say such a thing, that I was making it up to be manipulative, that I was just a bitter person holding a grudge to punish them. That was it for me. I started yelling. I yelled that they had no right to ask me for anything, ever. I yelled that my home is my safe place, the place I built for myself after they took my first home away from me, and that I would never, ever let someone who was cruel to me in that way live in it. I told them to lose my number and I hung up the phone. Since then, my mom has been sending me these pleading text messages. My aunt, my mom's sister, called me and said that my mom is a wreck, and that maybe I should just try to be the bigger person for the sake of peace in the family. She did not call me an asshole directly, but the implication was there. I feel like I'm going crazy. I feel so justified in my anger, but the pressure is making me question myself. What they did was awful, but it was 13 years ago. Leo is in a bad spot. Am I being a cruel, unforgiving asshole for refusing to help him now? Update 1. Hi everyone. First of all, thank you so much for all the comments and messages. I have spent hours reading them, and I honestly teared up a few times. I have felt so alone in this for so long, and just having so many people, total strangers, tell me that my feelings are valid has been more helpful than you can imagine. The overwhelming NTA verdict has been like a weight lifted off my shoulders. It has helped me stand firm when I was starting to wobble. Before I get into the new stuff, I wanted to clear up a few things that a lot of people were asking about in the comments and DMs. I realize I left out some important details to keep the first post from being a novel, so here's some more context that might help explain the situation better. A lot of you rightly asked why Leo can't just stay with my mom and Mark. I should have explained this better. A few years after I was gone, Mark's business never fully recovered to what it once was. They ended up selling the old house we all used to live in and they downsized significantly. They now live in a small, 2-bedroom retirement condo in a suburb that is about a 90-minute drive from the city. Their second bedroom is my mom's craft room and is filled with her stuff. It's very small, and they really don't have the physical space to house another adult for months. There is no basement or den, so he would literally be sleeping on a love seat in their main living area. So while they are pushing me to house him, they are not in a position to do it themselves, which I know is part of why they are so desperate. And just for some context on Leo and why the focus is so heavily on me. He has not been a complete screw-up his whole life. He had a pretty good job for the last several years, and he lived in a nice apartment that he could afford. His company went through a huge restructuring a couple of months ago and his whole department was eliminated, so he lost his job unexpectedly. The main reason they are pushing for him to stay with me is purely about logistics. I live in the heart of the city, with easy access to public transportation and everything else. His best job prospects are here. From my mom and Mark's condo in the suburbs, it would be an expensive and difficult commute for him to even go to